Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Nicole. Hi,
You're
everyone. Thank you so much for joining my launch party. Today is 2/22/2022, and it's a magical time in Cosmos. So I am really glad that you get to spend few of those minutes with me today here on this call. And on the call today, I would like to introduce my fierce coach, Nicole Brantley, who is a womb care practitioner and a detox specialist. I also have my mentor, Carrie Tidwell, who is a regenerative detox specialist at Health Balance Lab. And you'll get to hear from both of them. It's not only about me today. And we are here today, guys, because I want to share with you life-changing solutions that can help all of us thrive. And as you all know, I'm very passionate about health and wellness. And through my own experiences with my two children suffering from eczema, and then an unfortunate incident that happened last year, my father passed away from kidney failure. And all these experiences have brought me a long way to where I am today. And let me tell you, the journey is just beginning. And I hope as you join in today, we join in on this journey and we will continue together in this journey because we were meant to thrive and not just survive. So I know that some of you may be aware of my children's eczema issues, and also may be aware of how passionate I was about my green smoothies that I really like to drink, and I do a little bit of workout. But let me tell you, recently I did a 15-day detox that Nicole had suggested. And through that detox program, I discovered my own health issues that I never knew existed. And basically, my kidneys, as we speak, my kidneys do not filter. And I'm currently doing my best, given all the knowledge and experiences that I have, to give my body the right conditions to help reverse the situation. And which is why I could not wait to share this with all of you, because as I've touched base with you on health and wellness, it's always an evolving process. And now during the pandemic, when we were all sheltered in, I turned into audio rooms for some motivation. And that's where I met my fierce coach, Nicole. I met her on Clubhouse just one day, randomly looking through the rooms in Clubhouse, and I saw a room about detox. And when I joined that room, I had things that I've never heard from a doctor, a managing doctor, or a surgeon. And I also felt like I was getting answers to some of the questions that were always lingering in my mind. For example, why was I eating organic food, but still experiencing health issues, even though I'm investing on good food? And so I learned so much by joining that room that I became a frequent flyer. I became a frequent visitor to that room. And each week there was a consistent message on, we need to make sure the chemistry of our body is working for us. Because if it's not working for us and it's not aligning, we are always going to be questioning, why did I just eat that salad and I feel like crap, excuse my language. So that's how I met Nicole, and she's going to be able to walk you through some of the things she has discovered. She has way more expertise beyond mine, and that's why I said she's my fierce coach. And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce my fierce coach, Nicole Brantley. Nicole, take it away.
You have me over here blushing, your fierce coach. I absolutely love it. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so grateful that you are here with us this afternoon. Like Jane said, my name is Nicole Brantley. I am affectionately known as the womb therapist. So what I do for a living is I help women who have fibroids, PCOS, endometriosis, those who may have trouble conceiving. I help them take the option of hysterectomy and other surgeries off of the table and truly get to the root of their healing, because a surgeon can cut out everything except for cause, right? And so I'm very big on root cause. So like Jane stated, I am a cellular regenerative detoxification specialist. I'm also a womb care practitioner and educator, as well as a therapist. That is why a large focus of the work that I do with the women and men that I serve is based around addressing emotional baggage, right? We all have it. We all have experienced some sort of trauma in our lives that we need to address, because if we don't, it will halt our healing. Those are things that we will bring to the forefront and bring with us when we show up every single day. So I wanted to say that. And yes, Jane, absolutely, I adore her. Her energy is beautiful, as you can see. She would come to my room every Tuesday and Thursday. She would get on the stage, she would speak. After several weeks, she decided to join in with me and a colleague in a 15-day post-Thanksgiving challenge to get this product. I don't like to call it product, but to get these organic superfoods in her body. And Jane had me cracking up, because about 2 weeks, we were almost at the 2-week mark, and she's like, Nicole, I ran out of my stuff. And I'm like, what? You shouldn't have run out of your shake already. She's like, I ran out of my stuff. She was so upset. I was like, it's okay. It's okay. You still have the other stuff. You can just make regular smoothies. It will be fine from here. But she absolutely fell in love with what we call our Epigenius Kids, which is for adults too. And she's like, I'm going right now to purchase 3 bags because I will never run out of this stuff again. So it was amazing. She loved the way that she felt in her body. In that detox program, we talked about kidney filtration and to pee in a glass jar to see where your kidneys were. And Jane was very transparent, and she shared with me, I just lost my dad to kidney failure. And I shared with her, 30 years ago, I lost my dad to kidney failure. Same with Carrie, who lost her dad to kidney failure. And the reason why kidney failure is so prevalent is because of the diet that we have as Americans, right? We partake in a lot of proteins and grains and starches and things that break down the kidneys over time. And this is why we're all seeing some sort of kidney filtration issues when we pee in a glass jar. So Jane shared that she doesn't see a lot of filtration, and that's just to the naked eye. If you weren't experiencing any filtration, you would know. You would be in a lot of pain, and there would be different things going on, but she just doesn't see a lot to the naked eye. And so what she's doing is working on cracking those kidneys open to see more uric acid, more sediment come out into her urine, because what's happening is every time we eat a cooked meal, that acid backs up into our body if the kidneys are not filtering as they should, right? And then we have what's called acidosis from head to toe, and then we might experience things like high blood pressure. And so I want to quickly pause right there. High blood pressure is just high levels of acidosis in the body as a result of the kidneys not filtering as they should, as a result of your adrenals not, functioning as they should. They are the brains of the kidneys. And so perfect blood pressure would be 120/60, and our kidneys function bilaterally, meaning that the right kidney controls the right side of your body, your left kidney controls the left side of your body. And so you want to make sure that both are functioning optimally. So if you have a reading between 120 to 130 on the top, that is a sign that your adrenals are doing okay, they're doing well. If you have a number of 60 to 70 on the bottom, that means your kidneys are doing fairly well. If that number drops off, below 118 on the top or goes above 130, that means your adrenals are in trouble and you need to nourish them, right? They're weak. And so they're not functioning optimally, and they're responsible for many things. They're responsible for metabolizing our trace minerals and minerals for us to utilize. They're responsible for metabolizing our iron. And so if we don't, we'll have iron deficiency anemia. As women, if it doesn't metabolize our sugars properly, we will see chronic yeast infection. It's tied back to mood. It's tied back to insomnia if you're not sleeping. So many different things, right? That they're little, but they're mighty, and they're responsible for many things. And so we want to make sure they're functioning optimally. The kidneys, if that number falls below 60 on the bottom or goes above 70, it's a sign that our kidneys are failing. They're weak, and we need to work on them, getting them cracked open so that they're filtering the acids that they need. So in turn, we want to eat less cooked food, because every time we eat a cooked meal, it leaves behind acid ash, more raw foods, right? And then this is the thing. So back in October, I started my ultimate lifestyle transformation journey, right? And we're going to talk about that. So this is where, Jane started with the same products that I started with. For me on day 3, the clouds parted. I had such mental clarity, such mental acuity. I didn't even realize that I had brain fog. I did know that I was tired. I was tired all of my life, as far as I can remember. I loved my bed. I had to have a nice cozy comforter, nice fluffy pillows, because I loved my bed. I was always tired. And so what came to me during my transformation, my 30-day nutrition reset and ultimate lifestyle transformation, was that I was under brain fog that I didn't know that I was under. My gut was damaged or injured, and I didn't know that, because a part of clearing up brain fog was clearing up my gut. So we have these 4 foundational products that we take, and I'm going to allow Carrie to go into them a little bit deeper. But I was on these foundational products, getting them in my body every single day. And within 3 days, I noticed a huge shift. Okay, my energy is still through the roof. We're going on almost 5 months later. My life has never been the same. I'm noticing things as I'm driving down the street that I've always driven down. I'm like, that building was always there. That tree's been there. Like, just mental clarity beyond measure. And so what I realized is that there was a missing link. And the missing link is our soil health and how it relates to our health and the health of Mother Earth. So I'm going to encourage everybody to watch a documentary called Kiss the Ground. It's found on Netflix, so that you can get some more information about that. But what I realized is that I've always known that our soils are depleted, or were depleted, right? And that only 1% of the soil in America is truly organic. But I learned what that meant on another level when I put this food grown in regenerative soil into my body. My body responded quickly, and it responded very differently than it has always responded. Now, I'm going to give you some background about me. I was someone who was eating high raw, and what that means is I kept my day mostly raw. I start my day off with lemon water or key lime water. I would go into my herbs or drink a herbal tea. I would have a smoothie. I would have fresh fruit. I would have cold pressed juices. And then for dinner, I might have a steamed veggie meal. So my day was very high raw. I kept it very light and free. And even in that, right, even though I felt good, I was still always tired. So that signified that something was still going on with my gut. As soon as I started to get these foods grown from regenerative soil in my body, and my gut began to heal, all of these things began to change. I have energy through the roof. I'm not tired. My skin is glowing even more. My gut is healing. I have more kidney filtration. My son, he was 8 years old. When he would go into his rest state, fall asleep, he would break out in what's known as a night sweat, like immediately. And I was like, oh my God, his kidneys are in trouble. His adrenals are in trouble. And I was going to go out and purchase him all of these tinctures to get things moving. And I was like, no, we're starting this new regimen. Let's see where it takes us. And literally, I don't know when it happened, but when I paid attention, we had been a couple of months in on the journey, and I'm like, hey, you're wearing pajamas to bed. Hey, you can put comforters on. You're not sweating. He's like, no, mommy, I'm not sweating anymore. So that speaks to the kidney filtration. And I attribute it to our cherry drink that we take before bed. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Carrie. I'm going to let her elaborate on some of those beautiful things, share some of her stories of healing and regenerating her body, because she's also a cellular regenerative specialist. She is my mentor as well, and has gotten me through this journey. And it's been an amazing ride. Carrie, take it away.
Thanks, Nicole, and thanks, Jane, for bringing everybody together. It's one of my biggest passions is to make this information common knowledge, and the fact that it's not is like, there's got to be a way. Once I learned this regenerative healing 6 years ago, I was like, how does everybody not know this? And like, how are we so blinded from truth? And once I started learning these principles, it just made sense about the chemistry, like Nicole is talking about. When there's, what we don't eliminate, we accumulate. And if we accumulate a lot of high acidic, high mucus forming, congesting foods, we can start to break down, those cells which make up, our endocrine glands, our liver, our kidneys, all the things. And then watching my dad suffer, like they both talked about, with kidney failure, was heartbreaking. And knowing what I know now, he had signs of kidney stuff years before. He used to get big cysts and horrible back pain and all of these things that were just signs of kidney weakness that someone would have said, let's change your diet and all this stuff. I didn't have this awareness that many years ago. And then even when I did try to talk to them, people have to want to change. And so that's a huge piece of it too. But for those who are seeking it out, I ended up like I was, and Nicole was, and Jane, like I didn't realize how bad I felt until I felt so good. I had no idea. Like Nicole was talking about the brain fog. I didn't know I kind of knew I had it. And then when I thought clear, I was like, whoa, this is what it's like to remember like where you put your keys and different things. But I, as a child, I suffered with chronic ear infections, major sciatica issues, many UTIs and bladder infections, and many rounds of antibiotics, and it just destroyed my gut microbiome. And if for those who don't know what antibiotic stands for, it literally stands for against life. And this is the same thing that they're putting all over our food. And so when Nicole was touching on regenerative soil, anytime we're eating non-organic food, we're eating that glyphosate, which literally is an antibiotic, and it's killing our gut microbiomes. And so many people I meet struggle with digestion or energy or depression or anxiety. And, in 80 to 90% of our serotonin is made in our gut. And so if things are congested there and not flowing, this affects our mental health, anxiety, our brain health, skin health, all of it. And so really making sure we take time to take a pause and clean things out. And I like to use the analogy of a car. Just if a check engine light comes on and we ignore it, eventually our car will break down. So same with our body. Our body gives us many beautiful signs and signals that something might be out of balance. And that could look like allergies. It could look like eczema. It could be a chronic pain that doesn't go away. So many things that are presenting energy in your body that you're like, I don't know if this is normal. And this was happening in my 20s, and in my early 30s, I felt like I was 80. I had a hard time getting out of bed. I was like, Nicole, I love my bed. I did not want to get out. I hated the sound of my alarm, and I would hit snooze till the last second. And then I had a hard time standing up straight because I was in so much chronic pain. And I used to blame it on my dad, like, oh, my dad has a bad back, so that, I must get it from him. Or my grandma has dark circles, it must be genetic. And I love to share that genetics loads the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. So both of my parents have type 2 diabetes and gallbladders removed. And if we take preventative and proactive measures, we can avoid these things. We could save our uteruses, our gallbladders, our lymph nodes, all of that, if we understand how our body is communicating. And so it's a big blessing to come together and share this. And that's what Jane is wanting to just impart. Like, we have solutions. We love to offer education and then offer supportive solutions. And so if there's something that you're struggling with, or someone who's struggling with something, just know that there's our body is amazing at healing and coming into balance once we understand root causes and giving the body optimal conditions. And after a few months of learning this and applying it to my own body, I could not believe the difference. Like, I had this laundry list of things that got better. My energy was, I couldn't sleep in if I wanted to. My body wanted to get up. And I remember my mind wasn't caught up because it was such a habit to hit snooze. And so it was weird when I was like, I actually want to get up. I remember thinking that at that time. And then I want to have the energy to keep up with my kids and live a good quality of life. And so, making these lifestyle changes and feeling the difference, it's like you don't really want to go back. And so you start to feel more, and then emotions come up and you deal with that. And so what I used to do in the past 6 years ago, before I was connected in with this beautiful platform that we're sharing here, I would just help people with diet and herbs. And a lot of people were having a hard time staying on protocols because they were feeling more depleted. And same like Nicole, I found out it was a huge missing link. Another fellow specialist shared that she was using these in her practice and helping clients. And I was kind of turned off by it. I was like, I don't do products. I don't like products. But I didn't understand. I didn't know the details of how these are different than the ones you see at stores. And so just a little bit about the company we're connected with. It's by two owners, Dave and Amy. And they used to have their product on shelves 27 years ago. And they realized not a lot of people understood the quality. So the quality he wanted to create something that's pure and premium. And that's why the name of the company is called Purium, which stands for pure and premium, because he was formulating other products for other companies and they would want to put fillers to cut corners. And he wanted something beyond organic, regenerative soil levels. So they remineralize the soil, they use fresh spring water. The farms are 200 miles away from anywhere that sprays, and everything's picked at peak ripeness and then wind dehydrated, so the enzymes are intact, and then packaged in biodegradable bags. And when I started learning the history of like that, and then what their farming practices and how they are very earth conscious and health conscious, I was like, well, maybe that would help my clients sustain the diet and lifestyle changes because they'll feel more nourished. And ever since I started introducing it, so it's like a cleanse kit that has superfood blends that are grown in this way, that you mix with water, coconut water in a smoothie, so helps you feel nourished, so you don't have those cravings. And then there's herbal formulas that get parasites and fungus out, and also a formula to get glyphosate out, which is huge. Because we can't avoid it. It's actually a water soluble toxin. It's in our air, it's in our water. It's hard to completely avoid, but we can do it by the chemistry we bring in. So it's really important to know like what you eat, drink, breathe, and put on your skin is how we bring the outside chemistry in, and our thoughts. So these are some things we could just take note of and start to shift, like bringing in more of the alkaline side of chemistry in. And so these are very hydrating, alkalizing formulas. The cherry juice, like she was talking about, is amazing for sleep. It has one of the highest levels of natural melatonin, and it's all grown in the regenerative way. So you can taste the quality and feel nourished as you let other things go. And so we love to meet people where they're at, with these protocols, and offer support. So when I first started, I didn't have support. I was like trying to figure everything out on my own, just using diet changes and herbal formulas, but didn't really have the support of nutrient-dense soil and foods and the community. So what we did was create a community we have a Facebook group. We do 2 live calls a week to really help support people on their transformation journey. So it's not like you do this cleanse by yourself and you're on your own. We really want to offer support. And then, so if you're wanting to support Jane in this, you could join her by doing a transformation. Or if you know someone who's struggling with health that wants to get to root causes, these protocols are amazing for opening up elimination pathways and hydrating, alkalizing, and cleansing things out. And just, it's a great foundational place to start with all the support. And then on the other side, if you're passionate about wanting to share in this information, like Jane, like to make this information common knowledge, this is one of my favorite things to connect in with people, because this is how we share this. We have to link arms and share this with our communities to show that there's another way. I wish somebody shared this with me in middle school. Like, I suffered with menstrual cycle stuff, cramps, and all of that stuff is not normal. It's just common. I ended up getting adult allergies. Like, that stuff isn't normal. When Nicole said night sweats, my husband was getting night sweats when we first started dating. And I was like, that's not okay. Like, your body's trying to tell you something. And so changing his diet got rid of those. So he's able to tell what foods cause that and what foods don't. And so doing this transformation protocol really just gets you more in touch with yourself, and really you being your best healer. And then we just guide and support and offer community and that. So I could go on and on, but I want to respect all of your time, and I'll pass it back to you, Jane. Thank you for hosting this event today.
Jane, quickly before you speak, I just wanted to add some things to what I heard Carrie say. And, Carrie spoke about the glyphosate, and sometimes people are like, okay, it's in our air, our food, and our water. Well, how do I know if I'm consuming it, right? So I want to share some common things that glyphosate can be found in that we think of as like staple snacks that we have in our pantry. So we have Doritos has glyphosate, Cheetos, we have Oreos, oatmeal cream pies by Little Debbie, Cheez-Its. The big one is Cheerios. It has 1,125.3 parts per billion of glyphosate in that. And that one's heart-wrenching. I mean, they all are, but that one's especially heart-wrenching because it has the most. And it's the thing that we give our children when they're developing their fine motor skills and they're on their little high chair and they're trying to pick up their little, Cheerios and eat them. I spoke with a mom the other day and I was introducing her to this information and I said, Cheerios and she's like, my daughter just had a bowl of Cheerios. That's what she eats every morning. Like, are you kidding me? I'm like, throw it in the trash because you destroy the good gut microbiome before these babies even really get to experience eating real food. And so just really the entire cereal aisle, anything with wheat in it is more than likely going to contain glyphosate because of how our crops are sprayed. It can be found in breast milk because if mom is consuming something that has glyphosate, you pass it to baby. It's been found in rainwater, river water, so many different things. Tampons, ladies, because of how the cotton is farmed. And if it's sprayed with glyphosate, then it's going to be found in your tampons. So many different things that we can go into, but the main thing is eating for our physiology and bringing in this kind of macro and micronutrition to truly bring your body into balance. A lot of us are dealing with our bodies being out of balance. When we have any dis-ease, whether that's autoimmune, whether that's a chronic headache, we're having cramping during our cycle, we're having heavy menstrual cycles, we have fibroids, PCOS, endometriosis, we have high blood pressure, all of that signifies that the body is not in balance. And guess what? We cannot rehydrate the human body with water. That's not how it works. We have to eat our water. Our body takes the water from the fruit that we eat and they use that to feed itself, right? That's what feeds the cells. And the thing is that water is far superior than any water that you can drink. It's H3O2 and it resembles the gel-like interstitial fluid that flows between each cell. So when we take that in, that's what turns on the electricity, turns on the lights. That's what alkalizes and electrifies the body and brings hydration and soothes the body that is otherwise dehydrated from the other foods in our diet. You know, that's typical standard American diet. So people, you know, I ate high raw, like I know what it was like to eat high raw, and this took me to another level. So I'm going to pass it back to Jane, and then we're going to open up the floor for questions and answers. So if you have any questions, don't be shy. You can ask it in the chat if you truly are shy and you don't want to come off of mute, but we would want you to unmute yourself, ask your question, and get answers here today so that there's no, nothing that you're wondering about, because this is a lot of information to take in. It's very non-traditional, but trust me, we get results. We've seen the lives of our clients, the lives of our family members and friends change dramatically by understanding this knowledge and getting these whole foods, superfoods, beyond organic foods into their body and change their lives. So thank you so much. Jane, I'm going to pass it back to you.
I'm on a mute. Thank you, Nicole, and thank you, Carrie. And in conclusion, I'll just touch on three things. The support group, the accountability, because that really helped me in my journey. And guys, let me tell you, when I did that 15-day detox, I was sitting at 125 pounds. And you'd think I shouldn't have to get into a sort of a program to detox at 125 pounds, but I did lose 15 pounds through that detox program by simply eliminating the processed foods, the refined sugars, the meats. I used to love the meats every day. Eliminating those really helped me see those changes. And then getting to the root cause, because as you all know, I like to ask until I can no longer ask, do the 5 why, the tools that we were learning in school or the tools that we've applied in other aspects of our professional life. And I'm now bringing those tools into the personal life of doing that, getting to the root of the problem instead of just managing the symptoms. For example, getting a pill to take care of that high blood pressure versus changing your lifestyle and really making that body not get to that stage where you are having that high blood pressure. And then lastly is really to inspire other people, because I hear these stories every day, every single day. And if I was given an altar to get with it and the biggest microphone on earth, I will be the person to get on that altar. But I don't have that altar and I don't have that big microphone. And so I thought I'm going to start with friends and family and coworkers that I know and share this knowledge, share what you've learned here today. Really come up with, bring up your questions, guys. This is a very, very safe place. There's no bad question. There's no stupid question. as you guys know, it's a constant learning process, because I thought I had figured it out by going to organic grocery stores and drinking my smoothies. And even though these things were still happening, the night sweats, the legs swelling, the bloatiness in my stomach, the head not being clear, it didn't really add up. Or why am I putting this food in my body and this is happening? And so it came down to what you don't eliminate, you accumulate. And that accumulation turns into these headaches, these fogginess, these sluggishness and swelling and everything. And so it's still an ongoing learning process, as I told you. One day those kidneys will crack open very huge and things will start flowing as they should, because another thing we learned in school is the chemistry. The chemistry of our body has to work right for us. And then the last one is inputs versus outputs. If you're putting in junk food, you're just going to expect problems down the road. And so as I go into this, I'm thinking about the efficiency aspect, which is, oh, Jen, I don't have time to go grocery shop and get these long list of foods and meal prep and do that. But I'm also thinking about the effectiveness, because you might go for quick solutions in terms of your nutrition because you're on your way to work or you have a busy week, but then think about the long-term effects of that shortcut. And so efficiency and effectiveness in our nutrition is the principle that I want to advocate going forward. And then, of course, the support group and getting to the root of problems and not just band-aiding things at the surface. So with that being said, I'll open it up for any questions. And you know me, I like to point fingers, so start asking away your questions, please. I know you have them. Go ahead and mute and ask your questions. Thank you, guys.
Now, do you have to eat raw, like all raw during the cleanse? Can you hear me?
Oh. Yep, we can hear you.
Yep.
So no, you do not have to eat all raw during the cleanse. We meet you where you are. Our nourishing shake does replace your breakfast and your lunch if you choose to have two shakes. They keep you very satiated as well. So most people have their two shakes and then a dinner meal. So if you're eating meat or if you're eating fish and you want to cut back, that would be great. But we meet you where you are. So you don't have to eat all raw. Some people choose to because they want the greatest results because of what they're experiencing in their body, but it's totally up to you.
Okay. Was there at some point during the cleanse, like after 4 or 5 days, that the cravings you had before, did they like go away after a week or 2 weeks, like the bad cravings?
Actually, it happens pretty quickly for most. As you're cleaning it up with our product that gets rid of the glyphosate, the cravings do go away. And then day 20 through day 30 is when you take the capsules that help you eliminate the parasites and the candida or fungus that may be present, because your parasites are usually the things that are craving what it wants, and in turn, we crave those things. So truly, once that's done, you know, the cravings are gone, but it definitely starts before that for sure, because the body is so nourished and it's getting what it wants and it's shifting that gut microbiome that you kind of automatically start to lose those cravings. And people can't believe it. They're like, I can't believe I love sugar. Like, I can't believe I'm not craving a cupcake right now. I can't believe that I haven't gone through, you know, my favorite drive-through. So it definitely curbs cravings because you're nourished.
Right.
So you said there's, because I was listening and I wanted to know, there's no restrictions as per what we are eating, your normal meal, except because I've listened you stressing on if we can cut on meats and fish. So is there like a recommended meals that you stay on while you are doing your shake?
I can answer that. Yeah, that's a great question. And so we like to encourage unlimited fresh produce. So fresh fruits, there's no restrictions as far as fresh fruits go. And fruits are more of your cleansers. So they're going to help start to clean things out. And so sometimes people can go too fast with that. So we love meeting you where you're at, taking it to your best level. But I like to recommend like lemon water, lime water in the morning, and then fruit, and then a shake, like to just get that hydration in. And then as far as like a dinner meal, it depends on like what you're having. We do, if you are going to have meat or fish, I highly, highly recommend know where it comes from, because there's a lot of factory farms and farm raised fish that just has a lot more toxins in it than if people really knew how it was raised or grown or, you know, treated. They probably wouldn't want to support that industry. So really knowing where that comes from is key. And then if you are like wanting to let go of meat slowly, I would, you know, slowly start to cut it out, or have like a little bit of meat in the evenings, and then have more of like vegetables with it, more plant-based heavy, and have like meat as the side. We're conditioned to think, you know, what's for dinner is chicken, steak, fish, like, you know, that's like the quote unquote normal thing to ask. But really we want to shift into more plant-based to really give the digestion a rest. Because if you look at our anatomy and our physiology, and you were to put us in a category of like what type of species the human race is, it's not herbivores or carnivores or omnivores. We more, you know, resemble primates. We have teeth like them. We have GI tracts like them. But yet we're conditioned to think we need milk from another animal, and we're the only animal that drinks milk after age 2. And so we almost have to like unlearn what we thought was healthy. This was a huge thing for me because I thought I was healthy before this. I was like, I'm eating all real whole foods, all organic, like well-rounded, well-balanced meal. I was doing like eggs and vegetables and avocado and toast and fruit, like all at one time. And I was like not realizing why my body was not feeling well. And so sometimes just giving the body a pause to clean things out, just like we need to clean out the oil in our car. It's like an oil change for your car, like really cleaning the pipes, the lymphatic system, the colon, all of that. And so back to your question with the meals, like a dinner meal could look like steamed vegetables with, you know, a baked sweet potato, or lentils with sweet potato, or, you know, a vegetable soup. And then if you're really wanting to not let go of meat, you could have a little bit of meat on the side. But just really clean eating, you know, like real whole foods. And if the more fruits that you bring in, the more cleansing action will happen, and, you know, start to open up those pathways to get rid of more. And then taking this time to take a little pause so your digestion can clean out and heal. Did that answer your question, Claire?
Yes, yes. Also, to add to that, is this like, can it manage your weight too? Because I had my sister, Jen, say she lost quite some pounds. So
yeah, so if the body is in a balance where it's like you're wanting to gain or lose, like your body will naturally give you what it needs. So if you need to gain, it will help you gain. If you need to lose, it will help you lose. That's the beauty of going after the health of the body. And so if somebody has a hard time gaining weight, you want to clean the colon out so you can absorb what you're eating. If somebody is wanting to lose weight, it's just like go after the health of the body, and like weight loss is a side effect. So it can do either one. There's a formula that was created by an Italian doctor that's also in this kit. It's called Super Aminos 23. That's incredible for helping with muscle and skin integrity. So it goes right into the tissues in 23 minutes, and it doesn't wreak havoc on digestion. So this is really nice to take when someone's wanting to do a cleanse or give digestion a rest and get those essential aminos that we need. Because a lot of people think we need all this protein, and high protein is thrown at us a lot, but it's actually the amino acids that our body recognizes and is able to use. And when we give it a rest, our body can use that energy for healing and repairing instead of trying to break down, you know, chemistry that our body is not, you know, ultimately designed to have.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Great questions. Any more questions for us?
Yeah,
Don't be shy.
I've got one, and I don't know if I'm a step behind everybody else, but I mean, is there like a web? I want to look at the science and the details and the ingredients and all of that, and I don't see any names or links or that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and Jane will email you that. So we have all of that available. And yeah, that was a good question. And I forgot to even bring up. So yeah, Jane will send out like our protocols, a video that explains each one. You can look at the website. She also has a discount code if you're wanting to get anything. She will give you a code, and then this way you can look at all the ingredients. I'm exactly like you. I want to know ingredients and what's in it. We're super picky with ingredients. That's why I was hesitant to ever partner with another, like a company that was selling supplements, but these are no isolated chemistry. It's all food in its real whole form. So like there's a zinc formula. We're the only real whole food zinc formula on the market that has vitamin D, C, A, and E, and it's all in its whole form. So isolates is like taking vitamin C and taking ascorbic acid out of it and making, you know, a vitamin C pill, but we use herbs in its whole form. So your body really recognizes it. So we don't do any isolates, everything's in its whole form, which is a huge, huge bonus. And if you are looking ever into taking supplements, I don't ever take multivitamins or anything unless it's herbs in its whole form. So if you are, and they also have amazing formulas to help with like viruses. Like Virussure is something I keep on hand, and Jane can share that with you too. This isn't something that comes in the transformation kit that we're talking about, but like they have a bunch of different real whole food products, but this helps knock out viruses really fast. And so I travel with this. I used to get cold sores every time I would take a trip, and this knocks it out faster than anything I've tried. So it's nice to use food as medicine and doing it in a good way, that's grown in a good way and packaged in a even better way. Like having the biodegradable packaging is an extra bonus to not contribute to more plastic waste.
And Genevieve, you'll love the fact that everything is organic. There's no fillers. Like I was that person. I'm like, I don't do powders, pills, and potions. No, thank you. And my friend's like, now, do you think that I would really bring something to you that, you know, that wouldn't be beneficial? So when I took a look and thumbed through pretty much everything, I found nothing wrong. So Jane is going to follow this up with a thank you email. It is going to have the link so that you can get the discounts and you can see everything that's on the site. We have labels, suggested uses, nutrition facts, ingredients, like you can see everything. So you will get that shortly. And we have an amazing team page that can break down the kit, you know, what's in it, all of those different things. So I guess I can plug that in the comments. Go ahead, Carrie.
I was just going to say, we have a community website where we have educational resources where Dr. Zach Bush goes into the detail about the glyphosate and all of that, and then our soil health. But also we have educational resources tab where you can look up different subjects on diabetes or on gut health or anything like that Nicole just put in the comments. And so if you go to educational resources or transformation protocols, you can see that. And then one more thing too, if anyone is pregnant or nursing, we also have protocols that are amazing for postpartum moms to help with nourishment, because so many mamas are depleted after having babies. And so this can be so helpful for our pregnant and nursing mamas. So yeah, we can share, you know, if you have that specific question, we can share more on that.
I had heard of it because my daughter, who has autism, has a certain reaction to certain foods and so forth. And so as things are like highly processed and everything, that's one of those things where it's like, yep, we try to minimize what goes into our bodies as much as possible.
Awesome. I'm going to have Jane send you a video from our founder from one of our passion and products calls. Amazing information about autism, children on the spectrum, adults on the spectrum, and the products that we have. We have something called Green Spectrum, one with lemon, one without. They're both delicious, but they are great for anybody that's on the spectrum, because what it helps to do is keep the minerals in and get the trash out. So very important thing to know about anybody on the spectrum is you want to make sure that colon is clean. When the colon's not clean, the head cavity cannot drain. So once we move all of the poop out the way and the head cavity can drain, we can reverse a lot of things that we see with autism and autism spectrum disorder. So we have specific products that are great for rehydrating the body, giving them the vitamins and minerals that they need, protocols that you can put together for morning, afternoon, and night. And we know that a good night's rest makes for a great tomorrow. So there's so many different things that you can pull from the website for your child to get them in the best balance that you can get them and really reverse a lot of that, a lot of those issues, because a lot of them start in the gut and are a result of stagnant lymphatic system in the head cavity and an impacted colon. So when you can correct those things, you can essentially correct anything on ASD. We've seen it. So wanted to share that. So thank you for speaking up and sharing. And I will get that, Jane, I'm gonna get that video to you so that you can get that to Jessica.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, and the owner has a special place in his heart for kids with autism, and he has a nonprofit called the Awaken Project as well. And that's a huge reason why he created the kids formula. That's Epigenius Kids that Jane and Nicole were talking about not wanting to run out of, but I actually drink that too. And it has the formula to help get glyphosate out of the gut. So it's a great one to give for kids and adults. And then help them feel nourished as well. So, and it tastes good. So that's the beauty of this too, of like the reason why I even looked at it, because I was like, wow, this actually tastes good. Because a lot of powders I've tried before that chiropractors have or different ones, I'm like, they were like masking the flavor with mint or different things. It just didn't taste like real, it tastes like fake. But this actually, you can tell it's like good quality. Yeah, I'll pass it to you, Jane, for last words, and then we can close it out.
Yes, I was just gonna mention, I started taking the Epigenius that was September, October timeframe. And it wasn't until the late January, early February timeframe that my daughter, my 6-year-old daughter, Yvonne, started gravitating towards that Epigenius. So it's all about modeling what you're doing for your children. And I like to think of it of, I'm creating generational health by just modeling good nutrition for them. And so my daughter has been taking it for a while, and about 2 weeks ago, my son started taking it. So it's probably gonna be a matter of time before the entire family is taking it. And, you know, as Nicole had mentioned, that takes care of breakfast, and it's less prep work and it's less cleanup, and you get everything that you need to complete you as a being so that you can go out there and be of service to whatever initiative you have going on. So that part of the children, that really spoke to me, because, you know, some of us adults may think, okay, this is good for me, but then what am I gonna do for my children or for my grandchildren or my nieces and nephew? You know, I intend to fully have these Epigenius Kids on parties so that if a child wants to try it, it's available instead of a juice that comes out of a juice box and it's made of other things that I wouldn't really want them to be putting in their system. So that is very impactful. And then the other one I didn't want to forget is the impact to the environment, because I have a favorite quote that I like to say, in a round planet, there's no choosing sides. And so as I've traveled from a third world country to a first world country and realized that, okay, a cheap product at Walmart might mean that someone somewhere is paying for it in terms of bad working conditions or not getting paid enough to just get enough product so that we can stock our shelves in a first world country in a Walmart. And so to be able to hear about the mission of the company and to hear from the owners and hear how they speak passionately about how these products are made. And then the packaging that comes in some of the products is made of biodegradable material. It's a win-win for me, and it's a win-win for the planet, because I'm all about the universe. So that to me is a win for everyone. And it's my goal to just try and share this with a lot of people as I shared it with all of you today. So thank you all so much for joining. I know I have a couple of homework to do. Send you some more materials to read, and I'll be reaching out to you guys individually to just see where you feel. And the key thing is we meet you where you are. And so that's the goal. Don't think like you need to go hardcore or you need to completely eliminate something. We meet you where we are, because it's an evolving process, and we have to also give our bodies grace as we go through that process. Thank you.
Alrighty, so we're going to end the recording. Thank you guys so much for being here. Jane's going to follow up with you individually and via email. If we can help in any way, if there are any questions that Jane can't answer that she can get to Carrie or myself, we will do that. The documentary that was mentioned was Kiss the Ground on Netflix. Amazing, amazing documentary. There's so many more. So we hope to be connected with you. We hope that you join Jane on a 30-day nutrition reset with the ultimate lifestyle transformation. We have tons of community support that we would be bringing you into so that you can enjoy this new way of living and being. So thank you so much for being here. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.